Good Monday evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday Night Safety Stop. JoJo is now back over the weather. He was under the weather last week, so glad to see you're up and moving around.
Up and moving around, not quite over it all yet. Still quite stuffy, but
Well,
yeah.
it's nothing that a good dive will not take care of, to get all that stuff flushed out.
I don't know if I can do that quite yet. I mean, it's clearly
Yeah, well,
glad to have
might
you
have
can do it.
clearing issues.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it's the worst time to get sick is when you want to go diving.
I tell you what, it's well, we as divers, we're kind of used to cold water, warm temperatures, cold water, warm temperatures, or at least here,
Uh-huh.
So, but when the weather changes from hot to cold, it's a totally different story. Everybody gets sick. Let's see. Looks like Emily is on here now. I'm going to tell you. We had I watched the funniest thing, and I didn't get to see it live, but the funniest thing this weekend, Emily got to dive her dry suit for the first time. Like, actually dive her dry suit, not in the pool, actually dive it. And so, from what I understood, it was warm, it was dry, but watching her get her head in that little bitty neck seal reminded me of Ace Ventura. It
Yeah, I know
really did.
exactly what you're talking about.
She says I'll
Yeah.
make a TikTok for it. I mean, when I seen her trying to put it on, going over her head on the video, that was the first thing that popped in my mind. Are we watching Ace Ventura? Oh goodness. But oh yeah, fun time. Just wrapped up the fourth weekend of the season. We're off and rolling. Water temperatures are about the same. Really haven't had a lot of fluctuation the last couple of weeks. Of course, Mother Nature has cooled down a little bit and warmed back up. So, but we're still above average.
Introducing rain here or there.
Well, we need the rain, and as bad as I hate to say that, I was at the shop this weekend. I looked down the hill. I could see the container. I could see the van, the double decker platform, the yacht, the fire truck. I mean, I could see all that from up top. So it's the visibility is not horrible if you can see all of that, but
Especially the fire truck.
yeah, not the fire truck. Did I say the fire truck?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, not the fire truck. The school bus, the van, the container, the yacht. Uh, yeah, I didn't know I said the fire truck. But anyway, um, the problem is that the confined water area, you can walk anywhere in it. There is no over the head. The water is literally down about 3.5 to 4 feet.
Going to be hard to do the pool sessions if the water ain't deep enough.
Yeah, well, when you're in, when you first walk in and you're in knee deep water, it kind of makes it a little bit hard. But hey, at least you can walk. You're not having
Well,
to tippy toe. But
uh,
yeah, so, everything's starting to roll good. It's starting to pick up. More divers are coming out. Definitely having gear brought in and getting serviced. So happens this time of year. If you haven't got your gear in, guys, I can't stress enough. Get it in. Get to your local dive shop. Get it in because I mean we're seeing more gear coming in now. So your local dive shop is more than likely seeing the same kind of influx. So get it in before you're going to be waiting 4 or 5 weeks for your gear.
yeah. Speaking of gear, We should be hearing something from uh, Hollis or who's regulators.
Yeah, 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 Hollis. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I actually have. For those who own the Hollis LX 200s, I spoke with Hollis week before last. Um, the parts they have the replacement part kit uh,
it's on
available
back order probably.
available for order. They're not in stock yet, but they're available to order. So when they come in stock, they send them out. But again, this is basically a recall from Hollis. So if you own the LX 200 second stage, um, basically what they told me was they're sending me kits for all the ones that I've that have been sold through the park, and we have to get the serial numbers and as they come in and send those to Hollis so that they can record that those serial numbers have been fixed. So yeah, so that's the latest on the Hollis LX 200 recall. The parts they have. They I guess they're still designing or building them. I don't know, but when I called and told the guy the other day that according to my system, my numbers, that there was like eight. I needed 18 of them, and he's like, "Okay, do you have the serial numbers?" Well, no, they haven't came in yet. I can't record serial numbers until I have them in front of me. And so, but that's what he said that, when you bring them in, we have to record the serial numbers and send those to Hollis. And as soon as those kits are available, they're going to send them out. So we may be waiting another 6 months to a year.
That
I know
that seems
Hollis.
to be their mo is long wait.
Yeah, I know Hollis. And if they don't have something in stock, it takes them forever to get it in. So hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully that they'll be pretty quick since this is a recall. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm taking the first rule of scuba diving, and I'm not going to hold my breath. Looks like Mr. Todd has joined us. Good evening, Todd. Uh, Emily says, "Freaking still mine the materials."
They're still mining the
Oh,
material.
still mining the materials. Okay. I was trying to read it, and whew, my
We don't
eyes
have
are getting
enough
worse.
brass mined out yet for the replacement part.
Well, they're having to get the steel forged, and it's a long, complicated. Yeah, no, I don't know. To me, what was the recall dates on that? May of 2015 to March of 2025. Almost 10 years worth of regulators.
We're putting in a big order right off the get go.
Oh man! Now I don't know how many they've sold, but you take almost 10 years of this is a problem, or 10 years later you find this is a problem. What do you do? But yeah, I'm like you. I imagine they're going to be making more than just a couple of those repair kits.
Ugh.
Uh, I don't know, but that's the life of scuba equipment. Luckily, the scuba industry is not there's not a lot of recalls in the scuba industry.
Yeah, we
You know,
like our stuff to work the first time.
well, it works. You got a better chance of enjoying your dive if it works. We have risk whenever we jump in the water to begin with. So we kind of want to enjoy the experience and not have to worry about, oh, is my regulator going to quit breathing? Yeah. But like I said, we're lucky in the industry that we don't have. There's not a ton of recalls. Of course, if you look at it, I mean, the scuba industry is really small compared to other things. So the likelihood of things happening are relatively lower, as far as the equipment stance. We're not having a recall like the automotive industry, a recall every other day. uh,
Airbags don't work. Your seatbelt don't work. Yeah.
yeah. Or there's something wrong, a defect with the oxygen sensor. It's like, wow, really? In the auto industry, So, but like I said, luckily, in scuba we don't have that many. I mean, honestly, I can only remember two or maybe three in 30 years, that are actual like recalls. But nothing recently except for Hollis. So, I mean,
We'll put Emily's dry suit on recall. She can't dive it no more until she gets a proper neck seal.
oh no, she's got a proper neck seal. She's got the only one that will fit. She has an extra small. Jojo, I'm not even joking. That neck seal.
I mean, I could just see it.
The neck hole is as big as my forearm right here. I mean, it is tiny. I'm like, there is no. I could use it for a wrist seal. you know.
I'm glad you did put a nigga wrist seal in there.
Well, it's one thing about it. Have you ever seen a short or a short sleeved dry suit? Because I could do it with that neck seal. I could do it. Oh goodness, but yeah, I mean, water's warming up. I can't wait. I still have not had the opportunity to dive my fourth element suit, just because I run, I go nonstop. I have got to jump in the water with it.
But to find a day to stop.
Well, it won't happen this weekend either. I'm teaching visual inspector class on Saturday, and then I'll be playing catch up on Sunday. So, you know, it fits. So that's the main thing. Yeah, and that's the great thing about. I think we've talked about this before. The fourth element measuring system. Now, anybody who's been in the industry long enough knows, when you custom measure a dry suit. I remember, what was it, like 17 or 18 different measurements you had to take, and you measured it all out.
Front and back.
Oh yeah, inseam, shoulder, neck, yada yada. There was just a lot of measurements that you had to take. You're basically buying a formal suit. I mean, because they're taking measurements. And, with Fourth Element really has it down with the biomapping. 5 Fourth Element suits. The only issue we've had was Emily's neck seal. And when I talked to them about it, they said based on the size of the suit, when they put in the biomapping data, it estimates the size of the neck seal. So she got a small neck seal installed on hers, but she's not. I mean, a small was just a little too big for it. It was leaking. So that's the reason we went with the X small, and putting it on. Like I said, they sent her seal with my suit. So it was physically in the bag with my suit. I pulled it out. Look, oh, here's Emily's neck seal. I had to have her try it on before we installed it in her suit. So we knew that it would be what she needed before we, started cutting the old one out and all of that. So, yeah, Emily says, can't blame them for my itty bitty neck. So, Yeah, the only thing that I can think of that would make their process better is submitting the size for the neck. You can do the biomapping and everything, but to ensure that you get the proper neck seal size, if you're doing neoprene, if you're doing silicone or latex, it's not going to matter because you can trim as long as it's not too big. You can trim those to fit, but with the neoprene, you can't. So you have to step back and pull it out and put a new one in.
Yeah, that was a lot of work too. I replaced the neoprene seal.
Well, when we got Emily's suit in when it was shipped or dropped off, I pulled it out, just to look and make sure everything was in it, and I seen it had neoprene neck seals. I didn't know she had ordered neoprene, so it's like the silicone wrist, neoprene neck, and it was like okay, but once I told her, talked to her about it, it made sense because with the Cytec neck seal, you have that hard ring
Yeah.
on the neck. And anybody who knows Emily, she's not as big as a minute. And that ring rides right on the collarbone. And if you don't have any padding there, it's just bone. It's going to hurt, over time. And they actually recommend smaller people who are just like bony in the neck area to not go with the Cytec because of that ring, which makes sense.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with neoprene. I had neoprene one and it worked just fine. So
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's just one of those things. You can't cut neoprene. So I mean, if you have to change the seal, you got to have it. You get neoprene is glued in. So
yeah.
you got to have it done, and that means you got to send it somewhere, which means it's going to take a couple of weeks to get done, plus shipping time back. So you're probably going to be out of the water about a month with a dry suit, like a neck seal glue in.
Yeah. But they don't rip as easy either as
No,
neoprene
no, they don't.
or latex. So,
Yeah, no, they don't. But with silicone, the silicone seals, that it blew me away when I went through dry suit repair tech several years ago at DEMA. It was right after the silicone seals first came out, and I'll never forget the instructor opened a bag, a brand new bag that had two silicone wrist seals in it. Now these are the changeable, or no, I'm sorry, they were not. Yeah, they were the changeable. So when we were going through and he pulled those out, he took a pair of scissors and he cut a nick in the wrist seal, and he passed that wrist seal around the room, and he's like, "See if you can break it. See if you can pull it apart." Well, it's silicone. Of course we can. There was 15 people in this repair class, and I'm sitting at the very end of the line. So I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to get a shot at this thing. I'm sitting here watching it. First person gets up there, starts pulling, can't do it, passes it off. Second person, can't do it, passes it off. It makes it to me, and it has not ripped yet. And I'm like, holy crap, what is this made out of? Silicone, really? So I give it a shot. It took everything that I had. I got it to bust. I got it to break. But man, I'm pulling, I'm shaking, I'm pulling so hard, and it finally goes pop. So I just said it was where everybody else had pulled on it. It just weakened it.
you
So
didn't tell about those Iron Man competitions you get involved in, right?
phew. Let me tell you, like I said, that's the one class I won't ever forget because I'm like, when he cut that brand new seal, I'm like, he's really cutting a brand new seal? What? Why
Oh,
would any, huh?
you trim them down. We're so careful not to get one of those little nicks in them. Once we do
Oh
that,
yeah. Well, with silicone or neoprene, I mean, you've really on wrist seals, you really have to if you need to trim them, because I mean, coming from the factory, they could be a little tight, to where it's cutting off circulation. But if you've got a dry suit and you have latex or silicone seals in it, and you don't know what the little rings around it are, so on these seals, you have little rings, and they're what? Not even a quarter of an inch apart. I mean, they're
like an eight.
yeah, they're like a eighth an inch apart, and I don't know. There's probably 15, 18 of them on there, but those are cut lines. So when we size a seal, whether it be a neck seal or a wrist seal, we cut one ring at a time and then we fit it. And you're cutting just enough off that you're not going to make a huge difference. There's been people who have, here, this is way too tight. Let me cut 3 or 4 rings off. You don't want to do that, because once you do and you cut it too big, now that seal's no good. I mean, you can't use it. So the method is one ring at a time, and fit and try and see. One ring at a time, you're going to feel the difference. You're going to feel it loosen up. Oh, this is a little better. I may need to go one more. So once you know how many rings you need, the next set, go ahead and cut, because you know exactly how many rings off you need on your spare seals if they're quick change. You can do the same thing, on your spare set. Once you get your first ones cut to where they need to be, you can go ahead and cut the exact same spot on your spare. That way, when it comes time to change them out, you're not having to stop and cut them and to put them in, and you're ready to go diving.
Yep. Yeah, and might as well have them ready because that's supposed to be your backup, right?
Oh yeah. Well, in the old days, and I remember the old days. The old days were glue in. So when you ripped a seal, you had to send it off. Because there was nobody in our area at that time that could replace them. So you had to find a place that specialized in dry suit repair. You had to box it up. You had to send it. They would take the old seals off. They would prep it, put new seals on. They would seal it. They would pressure test it. And as long as it pressure tested great, they sent it back to you. That process was about 3 weeks. So theoretically, you're out of the water for 3 weeks if you want to dive dry. Now, you can always dive wet, but in the wintertime, you don't find a lot of people diving wetsuits. So, but nowadays, with the quick change, I mean, DUI came out with it with the zip seals 20 years ago. And that kind of revolutionized the dry suit seals at that point when they come out with, oh wait, we can change our own seals in the field and continue our dives. This is awesome. And then SciTech come out with the quick cuff, quick neck systems. So most suits nowadays, if you're getting a factory, like an off the shelf suit, then you're getting a changeable seal, because most of them are the silicone quick seals. DUI still ships with the zip seals. If you want different seals, then you have to request it, like if you're doing a custom suit, which is what I had to do with Fourth Element. I mean, you had to do it too. You had to pick your
Yep,
seals.
I pick my seal.
So, if you're custom building a dry suit, then, yeah, you've got to pick. But if you're buying a stock size, like a small, medium, large, XL, 2X, then 9 times out of 10, they're already going to be set up. If it's not a DUI suit, it's going to be a SciTech quick seal system. But if it's DUI, then you're going to have the DUI patented zip seals. So,
A lot of dry suit technology.
oh, I mean, yeah, what technology with diving in general. I had a conversation with a gentleman this weekend actually on a velo. And it kind of made me look back and think, the all the years that I've been in the industry, that all of the innovations that have come about. I mean, when I started diving, computers were a luxury item. Not everybody had one. You was still diving the tables. You still filled out your logbook using the tables. And then the computers really made a revolution when they started teaching the computers more and air integration. Nowadays you don't see a diver that don't have a computer. There are very few and far between. And so, just the revolution of computers into diving, and basically all the agencies setting the tables to the side and teaching computers now. Dry suits were the same way for years. It was glue in seals. And 20 years ago, this innovation come out with the quick change, which is an awesome idea. It doesn't ruin my day of diving if I rip a seal. I can just take 5 minutes, change that seal out. I'm back in the water. But yeah, I mean, just the technology over the last, 20 years. And it makes me excited to see what's coming down the pipeline for the next 20 years. You know?
All right. See what pops up at NEMA this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that you just never know. I know you've seen it, Joe. I've seen it. You said DEMA. I've seen products that's been debuted at DEMA that last for a couple of years and then boom, they disappear.
I thought the Avelos. I mean, I've been watching the Avelo system probably for the last 5 years, and then
Oh
they
yeah.
started off. So
Oh yeah. And there are exceptions to the rule. I mean, you was talking of Velo, but there was one. It was called the Dive Caddy, and I've talked about it on the show before. Um, it was a great concept, great idea. I had one. Um, you know, easy to pack. I could pack my BC, my regulator, couple 3 days worth of clothes, my mask, my fins. I could pack it all in this pack and carry it on the plane with me. It was just the right size to where I could use it as a carry on. So if my luggage got lost, I still had my BC, my regulator, my mask, my fins, all of my stuff that I needed to make a dive. Plus, I had, 2 to 3 days worth of clothes. So if it showed up, it showed up. If it was late, whatnot, I could still dive. You know, that lasted for, I don't know, it was around for probably 4 or 5 years and then disappeared. I mean, all the things
yeah,
that we have seen over the years that have come and gone. I mean, the funniest one is the little dive bubbles. Have you ever seen them? It's a
no,
it has I've got one up in the classroom. It's that little bitty it's a little bitty like rack or a little bitty tray thing. It mounts on a hose, but it's got three little balls in it. And the idea of it was when you got ready to go to ascend to the surface, you grab one of those balls and you let it go, and you don't go up any faster than that ball goes up.
okay.
I'm like, holy crap, who thought of that idea? But that was back in the 80s. You know, don't ascend faster than the ball. Where did the term "don't ascend faster than your tiniest bubble" come from? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
now we got computers.
Yeah. I imagine you had to replace a lot of the balls. That I'd lose them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Emily said, "Etch a sketch dive slate." That made me giggle. Yeah, I mean, a kid's toy. They turned it into an underwater communication device, an etch a sketch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically all the what is it? It's, mini sketch or I forget what they call it. They're still out. They're still available. But it's like an etch a sketch. You can write on it. You can draw on it. You move the little thing and it wipes it clean. You know, the only difference between an etch a sketch and this, you remember you got them two little knobs with the etch a sketch, and this
Wouldn't
one
that be
here's
fun?
yeah. Hold on, I'm writing. Are you okay?
First, that's going to be really good.
It takes you 30 minutes to write. Are you okay? Mm. But, I had the conversation, it's been back a year or two ago, talking about, some of the history behind the equipment and stuff we use, not just dry suits or computers or anything like that. But if you think about it, where did these designs and concepts come from? Do you
Old
know?
time.
Huh?
No.
Well, basically, they come from somebody's garage and components from a hardware
Well,
store.
but everything?
Yeah. I mean, years ago, I mean, run down to your local hardware store, you could get components and you could build whatever you wanted to build, really. Of
Yeah,
course, back then we had Radio Shack.
your old military depot. You can go and buy stuff from.
Yeah.
Old gas masks.
Hey, will this work diving? Sure, try it.
Take the lens out of this. Put some uh, skirt
Oh
on
yeah.
here. Now we got a mask.
Yeah, it's I mean it's just amazing, if you look back at the history of diving, some of the older equipment, um, the old two hose regulators and those things look wicked. I mean, if you've not had a chance to see one, they look pretty neat. It reminds me of a rebreather because of the way the hose comes around and your actual regulator, first and second stage, is on your back. So it's all in one unit, and it's great for underwater photography because you don't have to deal with bubbles.
Yeah, it's all behind you.
Yeah, everything's behind you. Let's see. Emily said main tie cave rescuer guy built all of his stuff in his garage using a freaking inner tube for a BC. I don't doubt it. I mean, when you get into cave and technical diving, there's not a lot of manufacturers out there that build equipment, specifically for that kind of diving. And so a lot of them guys have to be intuitive on, building what they need to, during the dive. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
special bags and everything.
The what?
Special bags and everything to handle it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I never thought about it, and I'm sure a lot of people don't think about it. What happens if you get thirsty when you're underwater?
NASA.
Huh?
NASA. They invented the sun kiss.
Capri Suns.
Like free sun, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Brian does it. When he takes 3 or 4 hour dives with his rebreather, he's got Capri Suns on him. So if he gets thirsty, boom, hey, it works. And talking about some of the older equipment, things you don't see anymore, I remember in the early 90s when I got certified, there was a contraption out called the Scuda, SCUDA, self contained underwater drinking apparatus. It was a camelback. If you've ever seen a camelback, it's got the little thing, the camelback thing has the little tube. It
Uh
was a
huh.
camelback. That's exactly what it was. But it was before it became camelback. It was called the Scuba. You know, I won't ever forget that one. I mean, it's like, what in the world is that? It's a Scuba. What the heck is a Scuba? Self-contained underwater drinking apparatus. Like, well, what can we put in this Scuba?
Probably the wrong stuff.
You just didn't want to put anything carbonated in it.
Yeah, nothing carbonated. Probably nothing fermented.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely want to stay away from the fermented beverages and yeah, yeah, definitely. So maybe in the camelback when you're hiking, but not in the Scuba when you're diving.
Did we
uh,
freeze up on our stream? No, I'm just not lying.
no, you're on. It looks like we're alive. I'm still seeing us anyway.
Just I must hit the wrong button over there.
Don't hit buttons. Don't touch the red button. It aborts the dive. Don't touch it. Oh man, just looking back at the history, of diving, and again, all of the products that I've seen throughout the years that are no longer on the market. It reminds me when we went to Key Largo and toured the History of Diving Museum. That was such a fantastic place. If you ever get the opportunity and you're in Isla Morada, not Isla Morada, Taverniers, because it's just outside Key Largo. So if you're ever in Taverniers, the Keys, you got to stop by the History of Diving Museum. There was stuff in there that I'd never even seen. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Personal submarines.
oh yeah, I mean it's just like, oh my gosh, somebody tried to dive with this.
Yeah. I mean, they pretty much had a suit in there. It looked like that robot from Lost in Space.
Lost in Space, yes, yes, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I mean, just all kinds of, you know, artifacts from, the history. Um, I remember when Patty had the wheel, and its purpose was to take place of the tables, and which I know Dad still has his, but that is the first time when we toured that I had seen another one other than Dad's, that I had seen another one out in the world. I'm like, oh my gosh, they did exist. Dad didn't make it up. Oh, but we were talking this weekend too. And that about the old cylinders, like the old alloys, the ones that can't be used anymore, and which Dad made a visit this weekend, and he's seen all of these old the cylinders stacked up outside, and he's like, "Why is all those cylinders out there?" I said, "Because they're the old alloy. You can't use them." Oh, okay, you know, and you can't. I mean, this old alloy is, you can't test it anymore.
Yeah, you
So
can't test it.
yeah, I mean, the requirements by law, it has to be eddy current tested at the time of visual inspection annually. There's nobody that has the machines anymore because the machines are outdated. So I did have an interesting one this weekend though. Gentleman brought his cylinders in, and he had one cylinder. It was a Scuba Pro cylinder. He
Ooh,
bought it in Germany, and it did not have. Of course, it didn't have a DOT because it was bought in Germany,
Germany. Yeah.
but it didn't have an ISO on it either. It just had the Conformity European stamp, and which that threw me. As an instructor in visual inspection, I'm sitting here like I know what I'm looking for, but I'm not seeing it on the cylinder, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to be able to do anything with this. Of course, I had to get a second opinion, and was correct. Because it is not, didn't have that ISO number. We couldn't do anything with it. But that brings back into play. What do you do with old cylinders? With those,
Mailboxes.
huh?
Mailboxes.
Mailboxes, little personal barbecue grills. I know,
Planters.
huh?
Planters.
Planters, lamps. I mean, get creative. I know we're saving ours so that we can use them as a banister when we decide to expand out and have a porch. That's going to be the banister for the porch, as all these cylinders are going to be lined up. I think Emily made the comment, well, why don't we paint them all? It may not have been Emily. Somebody said, why don't we just paint them all? And I'm like, but no, it was not Emily. It was Dad. He's like, well, are you going to paint them? No. It brings character if you have the original, so. But yeah, I mean, literally, you drill a hole in the bottom, you anchor it to your concrete, boom. It's not going anywhere. Makes a
Yeah,
perfect little banister.
we can probably get some construction adhesive too that won't come off either.
Yeah.
Literally, we hold bridges up with it.
Oh, great. That makes me feel a whole lot better next time I go over a bridge. Oh, it's held together with duct tape and super glue.
Be
Gorilla
surprised. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, Joe. There's some things in your job we don't need to know. We need to know that it's held together by concrete and rebar and big bolts, and it's not going to go anywhere. Not that it's put together with duct tape and gorilla glue.
everything's made with the lowest bidder, and then they put me in charge of making sure it all gets taxed.
Lowest bidder for the least amount of materials that they can get.
So we should keep this going.
Yeah. Your tax dollars at work.
We've already spent it.
I don't doubt that a bit. Wow. All right. Let's get back to diving. Of course, how you fix scuba gear. Duct tape.
I seem to remember that there's a lot of uh, tie wires. Shoot, uh, not main like zippy ties in our dive gear.
Oh, yeah. Zip ties.
I mean, come on. How much more of a redneck fix do you get from zip ties?
I don't recall seeing anybody's equipment, more specifically the BC, that the inflator is not held on by a zip tie. I've seen fins held on with zip ties. I mean, yeah, Joe, like, I'm guilty. I mean, it's just like, we use zip ties for everything. Hey, you got a zip tie? You ask a diver, hey, do you have a zip tie? I guarantee you, yep, here you go.
Yeah, what happens when you buy a pair of uh, strap fin or spring straps that are too small? You had to zip tie to make them a little larger.
Hey, whatever works. I mean, you know, yeah, I've seen some things kind of like the farmer's guy. I think it's the farmer's insurance guy. We've seen a thing or two. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Oh, goodness. But, again, that's what makes divers divers. We're going to get in the water somehow. Sometimes it's questionable, but sometimes it's not advisable. If I'm having that much problems, now if it's a fin strap or something like that, okay, but if I'm having that much problems with my
Who needs
gear,
fins?
huh?
Who needs fins?
Who needs fin? Hey, you got a scooter, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but
Adaptive diet.
it makes steering with a scooter a little bit easier.
It does. It does.
See here.
Probably would have kept Mike from doing a face plant or something in the bottom. So
Yeah. Well, I tell you, if you don't have your fins on, it sure makes it hard to go anywhere.
yeah, yeah. Especially if you can't touch the bottom.
Yes, yes, that is the truth. But yeah, again, scuba gear was the concept was developed in garages across this planet. People come up with an idea, they build the prototype. Well, what about the guy? And I know you remember this one, the guy that come up to the quarry with that fin.
I know we've shown it before. Yeah.
Yeah, we showed that. I can't even remember what the name of it was. I mean, great concept, but it just, yeah, it was built in a
Uh,
garage.
you probably would have had a little bit better luck too if you had a 3D printer.
Well, I believe that was before the days of 3D printers.
Yeah,
That was the day you take an old fin, you cut the middle out of it, and then you zip tie the little fins across so that they
that's
move.
about how it was.
Hmm.
It was like, be easy with them. They're really fragile. I think we broke all of
Yeah. Yeah, and then he done the little videos, and it's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, my brother's on there.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this is. They didn't do my interview because I didn't give him a very good
Oh yeah, yeah.
interview. Mine didn't make it on there.
I thought yours did.
No, I had to run. I was like, these aren't making me go anywhere.
Oh. Okay. So Emily sent me the video of the donning and doffing of her dry suit neck seal.
Should
So
we have a good laugh real quick before we
we
wrap
can.
this
We've got
up?
about 10 minutes. Let me. I think this is gonna be her taking it off. Let's see. Emily, clarify for me the first one you sent and the second. Okay, I guess the first one is when she was putting it on. The second one looks like when she was taking it off. Let me see. Yeah, if yeah you haven't seen this, you definitely will get a chuckle out of it. Uh, we don't do
There
this
you
to
go.
embarrass Emily. We promise we don't, but it is funny. You know, she knows that. I don't know which one I've got here. I just have to throw it up. Okay, I'm assuming that this one, I'm going to cut to it, JoJo. I'm going to have to turn your audio back on, but I'm going to cut to it here.
Okay, Emily is
There you go.
deciding to put on her dry suit.
All right, so that's Wally.
The new extra small neck seal.
Yes. All fixed. I'm videotaping it. You're trying to put your undergarments on.
And this is like 2.5 minutes, so I guess I could fast forward to,
Thought I cinched these good enough already.
I don't know if I can find it.
This to make it.
I'm going to fast
So
forward
we'll
it.
see if it's going to be
All right.
enough. I know you're doing this wrong.
What?
There you go.
Okay.
Get your arm in it.
You're not completely unzipped.
Well,
Yeah, I hate it when that happens, when you're not completely unzipped.
Yeah.
careful, careful.
All right.
You need to have the Ace Ventura meme
Tighter.
up
Get
ready.
one
After this.
with my underwear.
Have the what?
Have the Ace Ventura meme ready to go after this.
Yeah.
It was much easier. It was
Well.
much easier.
All right. So we're
Okay.
about 2 minutes into this now.
There's no torso to play with.
I can tell you it would help
Now this
you.
is the new dry
crotch,
suit. This is the
you undo
X small
that.
dry suit seal.
They give you a little bit more room.
And
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you undo the torso so you can put it over your head. Sculpting torsos are good.
I can walk up and I can walk out. Like, doing so good. Have you seen Ace Ventura?
Somebody even said it.
Come on, Emily, you got this. Come on.
Can you breathe?
Almost there. Over the nose.
Mouth wide open.
I think the mouth wide open too is just
Okay,
like.
are you breathing?
Oh goodness. Yeah. So then we also have the one with her trying to get it off. I'm trying to so we're not all right. That looks like a good face right there. Let's just start it. Let's see. Maybe. All right. So let's try it here.
You might want to take a deep breath.
All right. So this is Dolphing the dry suit.
Wait, I need to get out, or you need to turn towards me. Because we gotta have this. We gotta have all these motions here.
I'm gonna have to get help. I'm gonna have to work out just to.
If you can't handle your own gear, you don't need to be diving said gear.
We're gonna run out of video on this thing.
Yeah.
She's already out of breath.
No, I'm out of strength.
Come on, you got this.
You
Emily.
have to pull the back. Okay.
Like over the nose. Accomplished. I'll get the rest of it.
Say pull.
Oh, you have to lube that thing up before you take it off.
Can you breathe?
You can't feel my eyeballs.
That's okay. We don't need eyeballs. Come on, Emily. You got this. I don't know.
I got it.
There we go.
She finally made it.
Emily gave birth.
Oh.
You have to spray yourself down with some soapy water before she gets in and out of that
Phew.
thing.
I tell you what, I mean, I have to give her credit. I mean, yeah, I would, if I hadn't have been able to get it on easy, getting it on, yeah, it's like, yep, nope, I'm done. So
I know
I
the
give
easy
her a lot of
part's getting it on. Getting it off is the hard part.
Yeah, oh yeah. Let's see what she. Oh yeah, I embarrassed myself all too well. But you know, and that's one thing. You know, everybody is a different size, so you know what fits like around the neck. You may have a hard time getting it on or getting it off, and yeah, those neoprene seals, they don't give a whole lot.
No, they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, not like a latex or a silicone. I mean, it's, you know, but she got it, so that's all that matters. And she stayed warm and she stayed dry, which is what a dry suit's supposed to do. And so all in all, I would say that she had a very enjoyable dive, other than getting her head through the neck seal and getting her head out of the net seal.
Hey, she stayed warm. That's a big improvement because normally she's cold anyway.
Yeah. So, you know, I've always said if I have to fight to get in a wetsuit, I'm using my dry suit because to me,
I'm with
it's
you.
yeah, to me, it's a whole lot easier for me to do the dry suit versus fighting the wetsuit. So,
I get it on a whole lot faster, a whole lot quicker, a whole lot easier than I can a dress or a wetsuit.
yeah, exactly. So, all right, JoJo. Well, it is 8:57. It just does not seem like we have been on for almost an hour. You know, of course, I'm glad you're feeling better. You know, I know you was under the weather last week, so I'm glad to see you kind of above the weather this week. Now time to get underwater.
I gotta get to that point where I can get underwater. Right now, it ain't the point. As I am, I'm still recovering. I don't know. I might have my first realm with COVID this time. Who knows?
Uh-oh.
This has been a. I don't know. It's been like 5 days. No, it started Saturday last week,
Mm.
Friday night last week, and I'm still kind of fighting it. So, but yeah, Monday I wasn't doing the show.
Yeah, I know. I got
I
text.
called into
I
work
was
and everything.
sick.
Yeah, I called into work and everything Monday, so I was really feeling bad.
Yeah, when Joe says I'm sick, go ahead and take it to the bank. Joe's sick because Joe don't miss anything diving.
No,
Yeah,
I mean I will literally go against all the advice and load myself up with steroids and decongestants. Good,
yeah.
don't do what I do.
Just as a disclaimer, that is not recommended. Just so you
No,
know. Don't be telling your secrets, Joe. But no, I mean, in all reality, if you're sick or whatnot, it's best to go ahead and postpone your diving day. Because if you take any kind of decongestants and stuff, that wears off underwater. Do I?
yeah, that could be a bad juju.
Oh yeah, very bad. If you've ever had the as you're descending and you can't equalize, well, imagine that at depth trying to come up.
Yeah,
Now
can't,
you've got to go
no,
up. So you know. So yep.
painful.
Huh?
So it's painful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Reverse block. Whoo.
Yeah,
Yeah. You definitely don't want to do that. So and it takes longer to get back to the surface. If I can't equalize on the way down, hey, I go back up to the surface. I'm great. But if I'm diving and I'm 50 foot underwater and I start to come up and it blocks, I still got 40 or 50 foot to go.
and it only gets worse as you go up.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, definitely if you're sick and you have a cold or anything, it's better to go ahead and postpone dive another day.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be back in the water here shortly, but I'm glad to be back here on Monday Night Safety Stop. That means I'm moving in the right direction.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait
Well,
to see it.
and our schedule for Monday Night Safety Stop is ticking down. We've only got
It is.
we've only got next week and the week after. So 2 more episodes after tonight and we'll take our summer break and we'll be diving all summer hopefully and then be back
Let's
in
go
the
dive.
fall. Do what?
I'm ready. So let's go diving. I'm ready.
There you go. All right. All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts for us for this evening?
Let's say I'm just happy to be back. Be back on Monday night. Can't wait to see everybody down at the water side. Sounds like I missed a lot of fun.
Hey, it's always fun on the weekends. You never know what you're going to miss. This weekend we had a surprise visit from a former staff member, Dan. He is moving from Florida, where when he left, he went to Florida. He's moving from Florida to Nebraska. So on his way, he stopped in to see family, and of course, he had to make a stop at the park and see all of us. So, we're one big happy scuba family. And we invite you guys to be a part of that. There's one thing we love, and that is sharing the world of underwater exploration and enjoyment of our marine world. So, yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, it is 9 o'clock, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in with us. We will be back here next Monday night, right here on our YouTube channel. But if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It helps us grow the channel. It also lets you know when we come on, because if your memory's like mine, I forget a lot of stuff. So it reminds me whenever I come on, I get an email. So go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. And if you're diving this weekend, we can't wait to see you. If you're not diving with us, we want you to have a fun, safe, and exciting diving adventure. So, JoJo, we will catch you next Monday night. Everybody have a great week.